Operation and maintenance of tray-type deaerators and feed water storage tank. Prepared by Prakash Boiler Consultant Private Limited. Now let's see the general arrangement of a typical deaerator and feed storage tank. The deaerator sits on top of the feed storage tank and it is generally called as the tower. It consists of the following. The feed water inlet to the deaerator where the boiler feed water at a pH of 8.89.2 is supplied. A low pH in feed water could result in corrosion of the tower and internals of the deaerator and feed water storage tank. Next is the low pressure steam or LP steam connection in the deaerator. The LP steam is supplied through a pressure control valve to maintain a set feed storage tank pressure, thus maintaining the desired feed water temperature. This temperature corresponds to the saturation temperature at the operating pressure of the feed storage tank. The spray nozzles are located below the feed water distributor section. The function of the spray nozzle is to achieve uniform flow of the feed water across the cross-section of the tray stack. There shall be multiple spray nozzles mounted on the distributor. The spray valves are generally made of stainless steel to withstand corrosion, and mounted on the valve body with a spring and lock nuts. The trays are assembled inside the tray box housing and held in position by hold-down bars or angles. The tray are constructed with thin sheets of stainless steel. There shall be several variants of trays in one deaerator, and are custom made for different manufacturers. Typically there shall be multiple layers of trays stacked one on top of the other. The function of the vent is to discharge the stripped dissolved oxygen and non-condensable gases or NCG from the feed water. A calibrated nozzle is installed to maintain a constant flow. There shall be a vent condenser installed on the vent line in some installations. The pressure equalization pipes equalizes the pressure of storage tank and tower. Now we shall identify the parts of the feed water storage tank. There are a few auxiliary stubs provided on the feed water storage tank, namely for vacuum breaker, pressure gauge, feed pump tap-offs, HP condensate returns, startup vent, etc. The safety valve is mounted on the feed water storage tank to prevent the operating pressure exceeding the design pressure. The overflow pipe allows the excess water to be drained off safely just in case the level in the feed storage tank reaches very high level. An automated valve is also installed in some cases and it opens when the level exceeds the preset high value. There shall be one or more stand pipes on the feed water storage tank. The stand pipe provides connections for local level gauges, level transmitters and high-low switches. The LP steam preheat pipe is used to supply initial heating steam to the storage tank by using a spray pipe inside the tank. The spray pipe has several holes to inject steam uniformly across the feed water storage tank. Preheat steam is supplied until the feed water temperature reaches 90 degrees centigrade. The drain pipe is used to drain off and empty the feed water from storage tank for maintenance or preservation purpose. Deaerated feed water outlet is connected to the boiler feed water pump suction. Saddle supports the deaerator and feed water storage tank. Out of the two support, one support shall be fixed and other shall be with provision for thermal expansion movement. The movable support is sometimes mounted on a copper plate or a Teflon sheet. The support shall have slotted bolt holes to allow the thermal expansion movement, and the bolts are generally hand-tightened only. Now let's learn the working of a tray-type deaerator. The feed water generally contains dissolved oxygen and non-condensable gases called as NCGs. These gases can cause pitting and corrosion inside the boiler and steam system. So it's essential that these gases are removed from the feed water before it enters the boiler. The most effective method of removal of gases is by thermal deaeration. The solubility of dissolved gases decreases with the increase in temperature of feed water. The optimum temperature is 107 degrees centigrade. Any temperature above this also helps to increase the cycle efficiency and reduce the effect of condensation and dew point corrosion inside the economizer. Now let's learn how the deaerator works. The feed water enters the manifold, gets sprayed onto the trays with the help of the spray nozzles mounted on the water manifold. A typical sketch of a spray valve is shown. This water further travels downwards down the trays. Now we can see a sketch of a typical tray. The LP steam gets injected into the tower from bottom and travels upwards through the trays. The water now comes in contact with steam and most of the dissolved oxygen and NCGs get stripped from the water, which then escapes out through the vent pipe. With the increase in temperature of feed water, the solubility of gases decreases and gets released. Typically, the dissolved oxygen in feed water shall be 7 parts per billion or ppb at 130 degrees centigrade, which shall be achieved on a properly working Deaerator. Now let's learn the startup of a Deaerator. Ensure that if the plant is being started up after a maintenance job, all permits to work is closed and handed over for normal operation. At first, maintain water level between low level and normal working level in feed water storage tank. The water inside the tank expands when heated, and reaches to working level without the need for draining down. Set the high level emergency blowdown valve to automatic mode, if provided. When auxiliary LP steam is available, open preheat steam valve gradually, ensuring that there is no excessive hammering. Due care must be taken as excessive hammering can result in the damage to piping, flange joints and structural. Monitor the temperature rise of feed water as gradual. Once the feed water temperature reaches 90 degrees centigrade, now steam to the Deaerator tower shall be started. Once the steam valve is set to automatic mode, set the feed water valve to the Deaerator tower to automatic level control mode. Always open the steam valve first before opening the feed water valve. Now close the preheat steam to the feed water storage tank. Maintain normal water level, NWL, in the feed water storage tank as the Deaerator is ready for its normal operation. Once the feed water temperature is at the desired value, check the dissolved oxygen level in the feed water as per the design. Never exceed the design feed water temperature value, as this could result in restricted thermal expansion movement, overpressurization and seizures of boiler feed water pumps. Inspection of Deaerators. Though the Deaerator has few moving parts, but it is essential that it's checked routinely, for desired dissolved oxygen levels in feed water. Any deviation in these values indicate that there is an abnormality in the Deaerator. The spray nozzles are to be checked for loose valve nuts and valve mounting bolts and nuts. The picture is showing a spray valve which got dismantled in operation. Sometimes a foreign object could get stuck inside the spray valve, causing it to get jammed or blocked. The common cause of failure occurs in the springs, which gets broken, causing the valve to remain partially open. Sometimes the spray valve gets too tight to operate. This is caused due to poorly adjusted spring tension or scaling on valve spindle. The trays also need to be inspected for the following. Dislocated or fallen down trays occurs due to poorly distributed water or caused due to heavy steam hammering. This can lead to poor performance of the Deaerator. The trays could get filled with debris, which is carried along with feed water, causing degraded performance. The holding down elements are normally fixed by bolts and nuts arrangement. Any damage or looseness of fixing arrangement can cause dislocation of holding down bars. Inspect Deaerator tower for pitting and corrosion in the tray box and water manifold, as these areas has more oxygen from the feed water. Debris or scaling could get accumulated, as sometimes feed water could be contaminated with suspended impurities, or due to the corrosion of the tower metal itself. Metal loss could occur due to excessive corrosion or erosion due to flowing water. Condition of outside thermal insulation and cladding. Feed water storage tanks shall be inspected for corrosion or pitting due to presence of oxygen and other corrosive gases. Debris or scaling could get accumulated, as sometimes nuts and bolts could fall off from the tower or storage tank, or due to the corrosion of the tank metal itself. Metal loss could occur due to excessive corrosion. so the tank shall be routinely thickness tested to ascertain its usability. Looseness of internal clamps and supports occurs due to steam hammering. Look for cracks on standpipes and stubs. The picture shows one such crack on a standpipe. Condition of outside thermal insulation and cladding. Freedom of expansion for storage tanks and piping to be checked, as any restriction to thermal expansion movement could cause frequent failures of gaskets or cracks in pipes. Maintenance of Deaerators. The steps for assembling the trays. Clean all trays. Keep spare trays to replace the damaged ones. The trays are assembled layer by layer with appropriate variant of trays. Refer OEM drawings for details. Do not twist or bend the trays. Do not use heavy hammers, which could damage or break the trays. While standing on top of the trays, use wooden planks to distribute the load uniformly to avoid bending of trays. After completion of the tray assembly, place the holding down bars to secure the trays. Spray valves maintenance. Check that all the lock nuts and holding down bolt and nuts are tight. Replace damaged valve springs. Replace damaged or inoperable valves. Follow OEM's recommendation on servicing of the spray valves. Feed water storage tank. Clean any debris inside the tank. Ensure that all clamps and supports are good. If found damaged, renew or replace with new ones. Apply recommended corrosion-resistant paint after cleaning the inside surface. Replace gaskets of manhole doors and secure properly. Repair or replace the damaged thermal insulation and cladding. Note that all safety precautions shall be followed while entering the confined spaces. Beware of high temperature. Always obtain a permit to work before starting the maintenance. Use proper tools for the job. Please like this video by clicking the like button below. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button. Visit our website www.boilerconsultant.com. Thank you.